How the heck are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
making the best of the strange new world. So we're speaking today with Alicia Eggert from her home in Denton, Texas. Alicia is an artist and a professor at UNT Sculpture.
Yes.
Yes. So Alicia, how are you doing? Um, we want to just check in with artists that we know and care about and want to know how things are going with you right now.
Well, thank you. I'm doing okay. I keep trying to focus on, you know, the things in my life that I know are good, which is that, no one that I know or love is very sick, which is good. And I have a job that, pays me a dependable salary, which is really good.
Yeah.
So those things are things that, I feel really lucky to have. Um, on the kind of more difficult side of the spectrum is the fact that now I have to teach all my classes online with UNT. And so I spend most of my day doing exactly what we're doing right now, which is like attending Zoom meetings with other faculty and administration, and then also students. So I'm trying to kind of keep a consistent schedule with my classes because I've noticed that a lot of them just kind of feel like they're flailing, and students, like, all time has gone out the window, which in some ways is kind of interesting. But I found that kind of holding a Zoom class, at least at the starting point of when class would normally be, has been really nice, just as a way to check in with them.
Yeah.
And sometimes only one or two people show up and we just touch base, and it only lasts a couple minutes. And then sometimes the whole bunch of them show up and we have really interesting conversations. So that's nice.
Is it weird? How many people are in each or in a typical class of yours? How many students?
So I typically teach 2 classes a semester. And this semester I'm teaching the senior sculpture majors, which there are 12 of them in that class. And then I'm also teaching a beginning sculpture class. And we have 2 different kinds of beginning classes at UNT in sculpture. One is called traditional methods and the other one is called digital methods. And I'm teaching digital methods this semester. So typically we teach how to use like the CNC router, the CNC plasma cutter, 3D printing, laser cutting, those kinds of things, and all the software involved. And in that class, there's 20 students. So I've been encouraged by UNC to do asynchronous teaching, and so to try not to require students to be in certain places at certain times, because so many of them now, we can't really like know what they're going through. And so a lot of them have lost their jobs or are caring for loved ones. Some of them only have phones and don't even have Wi-Fi at home. So I just haven't ever seen some of those people on Zoom at all. And I've also found it's like also really draining, like the amount of attention you have to really focus to like make sure you're staying present, in this way. And I think it's so much easier to like meet with people and be with people in person. So
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I know you deal with some technology in your work, and it makes me curious about what kinds of innovations will happen. Zoom just happens to be here, and right time, right place, and that's what we're all using. But I wonder what develops as we try to address the needs of people like some of your students that don't have internet and don't have a computer and they only have their phone. So yeah.
Honestly, I'm sure there will be innovations like down the road, or maybe some people have the energy to somehow be innovating right now. I don't know. But I've actually find myself going kind of backwards with technology, because sometimes it's just so much easier and nicer to just call someone on the phone and
Yeah.
not have to deal with the video aspect. And then my son, who's also home, which is another part of the struggle, he's 6 and he's in kindergarten. We've been writing a lot of letters. So that's been really nice, you know, sending, receiving
Yeah.
mail.
That, yeah,
Yeah.
it's there. Yeah, it's the best analog communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just sent a postcard and letter to my wife Tina's grandmother, and I had the habit of writing postcards and sending postcards every time I traveled. But yeah, now there's no better time than the present to
Yeah,
make that connection. If
totally.
we can,
Although
yeah.
we've been sending a lot of letters in envelopes, and I remember the first time we did it, it was such a nice experience, kind of like helping my son write this letter to his grandmother, because he's still learning how to write. And then, you know, I let him kind of like address everything and stamp it, and then we put the letter in the envelope, and I'm like, and then I was like, ooh.
Well, we have to address a lot of envelopes at work. So we have this like system with like a wet sponge that you just like, yeah, because if you're doing 1,000, it's a little tough on the tongue.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I realized in retrospect, like as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how are things art-wise? Like, are there shows that you have that are out there that need to come back to your studio, or did you have anything planned that either is canceled or is continuing later?
Yes, to both. So I had some work up actually at UNT for the faculty exhibition, and that was supposed to come down in early April so that the MFA exhibitions could go up. So that my work is still just sitting in the gallery, I'm sure with some other faculty work. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, none of those MFA exhibitions are happening, which I think honestly is like the saddest, you know, the saddest thing about this whole experience for me is that those graduating students, the third year graduates at UNT and the seniors, not getting to kind of have that experience and have the images for their portfolio.
Yeah.
But in terms of cancellations, yeah, I've had a bunch of things canceled. Pretty much everything that I had on my schedule all the way through September so far.
Yeah.
It seems like no one wants to schedule anything through the summer just in case. But
Just in case, yeah.
yeah, and those things are everything from like exhibitions, or I end up taking my work to a lot of festivals. So those kinds of things, obviously large gatherings at festivals are a bad idea right now. And then also like I was supposed to teach a workshop at Anderson Ranch in Colorado, so that was canceled. And then the thing that was really like a knife through my heart was that I had a reservation at the Lightning Field in New Mexico, the
Oh,
Walter
yeah,
J.
yeah, yeah,
Maria
yeah. Yeah,
land
that's
art
rare.
piece.
It comes only once in a while.
Yeah, yeah, you have to like jump through a lot of hurdles to get one of those reservations, because you have to send an email, you know, starting at midnight on like February 2nd. And then, you know, depending on what order they receive the emails, they'll take reservations. So
Yeah.
I was like so pumped when I got one, and it was supposed to be at the end of May. And you stay at a little cabin with a couple of strangers. And so that was canceled, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, our editor-in-chief, Christina, did that with another artist last year, maybe a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
looked really great.
Yeah, I've heard such good things. It's been on it's been on my bucket list for a long time. And but the good news is that I think I'll be like first on the list for a spot next year. So I'm sure it'll just
Yeah.
happen next year.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing I think about like the cancellations for me, one artwork that has been kind of pretty successful in terms of getting me a lot of exhibitions or especially opportunities with festivals is this sculpture that I have called You Are Magic. The
Yes.
one, I don't know if you've seen it, where you have
Yeah.
to hold hands and like connect on a like complete an electrical circuit through the act of holding hands. So that has been really popular, for the last couple of years. And I had a couple of opportunities to show that this spring. And then I've also been developing like new artworks that would require even more people to hold hands.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of really funny that at this moment I'm like, okay, yeah, that's
Not gonna happen.
it's not the right moment for that.
Oh man, you should use some kind of haptic glove that or suit that people can wear.
Yeah.
You are still magical now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was supposed to show that sculpture at a festival in Mississippi, in Oxford, in April. And when I saw my phone ring with the guy's number who had been my contact there, as soon as I saw his number, I was like,
He's like,
it's probably not a good time to hold hands. Huh?
yeah. No, that's unfortunate. I mean, I don't know what the other side of this looks like, but I know that we will figure it out somehow,
Yeah.
and still make things and find a way to connect those things with people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like I'm a conceptual artist, but the physical presence of like the work and also the people and their engagement with my work has always been really important to me. There's like a reason I'm a conceptual artist who makes sculpture. And yeah, that kind of like engagement and physical connection. And I've always kind of had this like belief that you understand something more fully if you can experience it physically. And I think the scariest part is that unknown, or the fact that we can't plan anything right now. So we just don't know when this will be over. And it's a little bit scary, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
What's in the background there?
Oh, I'm in my kitchen.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sitting on a bench at my kitchen table.
I've sat at that table.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just some of my art collection behind me.
Nice.
This is a net sculpture by a friend of mine named Maggie Casey. This is a painting by an artist named Neil Lawley. And then this is a lovely little drawing by Sean Mahoney.
Nice.
So yeah.
You're surrounded by art.
Yes.
In the quarantine.
Yeah.
Well, Alicia Eggert, I won't take up too much more of your time. I just wanted to check in with you, see how you're doing, see how things are going for you. And I'm sure your audience and our audience are interested as well. So we're grateful for your presence in the art making space, and we hope you keep making it, and that we all come out on the other side of this intact.
We will. Yeah. I definitely don't feel that I don't have the time, nor do I have the energy to like make art right now, but there's gonna be a lot of fodder for creativity when this is all over.
Absolutely.
Cool.
How are things in Denton up there? Is it like are people moving about like idiots, or?
I have really just been home, like mostly. The only place that I go is to the grocery store. So,
Same.
yeah, I'm not really sure. But I was really surprised when I went to the grocery store the other day. I hadn't been for at least a week, and it was a couple days after they announced that everyone should probably wear masks now. So I like put on a dust mask, like from working in the wood shop, and like went to the grocery store, and I was like ready for, you know, this new experience of everyone wearing masks. And I was like the only one wearing a mask. Yeah.
No, that's been our experience too. We'll go, Tina just made us a couple of masks, and we'll go in there, and we'll, like, people are like strangers standing next to each other in the aisle looking. It's like I'm pulling away. If you're on the same aisle, I'll go to another aisle until you're done.
Right.
And we're both wearing masks, and nobody was wearing masks. So like, we're all gonna die. You know, it's over. Oh my God.
It's really crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy. There's like so many different levels of reality to this experience, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's this reality of like the day-to-day of being at home, right? And then maybe the people that you see when you go outside your home or you go for a walk. And then the reality of like going to the grocery store, and then all of a sudden being confronted with like other people's realities and being like, whoa, we are obviously not on the same page.
No,
you know?
it's like, have you been reading or seeing the news that I've been seeing? We shouldn't even be there. But if we are, like, be really careful.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then my other thing that I've like really not enjoyed, that's the wrong word. The thing that I have been fascinated by throughout, like, hearing about all of this on the news is like, you know, my work is always about time. So the sense of like this kind of distortion of time that's happening through the virus, and how, you know, certain places are like 2 weeks ahead of us and certain places are behind us. And, you know, I don't know. And then also the distortion of time of like being at home and being in quarantine, and how that totally changes the way you experience time. That's been fascinating. I think that will be my creative fodder when this is all over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will stay in touch. Take care for now.
All right. Thanks. Nice to see you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.